Deja vu all over again. You might remember we reviewed Assault Android Cactus about 2 years ago. This was before we implemented our rule of no early access games. This game has now come out of early access, and so it gets a proper run at the CHAIRQUISITION. This is developed by Witchbeam Games. It's on the Unity 5 engine. It's reasonably priced at in around $15 of your regional currency. And Assault Android Cactus is an intense arcade-style twin-stick shooter. You pick from one of 9 unique synthetic heroines to blast your way through overwhelming robot hordes to save the ship from its own workforce. And it supports single-player and local co-op. They did send us keys back in 2013. That was when we reviewed it the first time. But this is Mark II, Assault Android Cactus 2 Electric Boogaloo. So we also have our CHAIRQUISITION metric. 1 chair means that it's garbage. 2 chairs means that it's meh. 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. 4 chairs means that it's awesome sauce. And we also have our categories to do, mixed with the working shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So let's kick this off. Then, take 2.
The Cactquisition, or however you want to do it. There's really no way to be clever about this bit. But
the Cactquisition.
Giggity. So, okay, how did it run on the Ubuntu 14.04 LTS 980 powered 4K displayed box of the business octa-core AMD 8150 data? Okay, I actually want to give this business an extra chair because being a Unity game, this does something that you would just expect every Unity game to be able to do. And this is first world 4K problems. Is, I want to check, between 2160 and 1080. I'll switch back and forwards on the reg to see what the performance metric is. And a lot of times, and I mean a lot of times, 9 times out of 13, a game will just completely bork and it'll go into 4K at 1080 and you have one 1080 corner. This nails it every single time. It's brilliant. You apply the limited graphics settings. They do it right there. You don't no restarting, anything like that. And yeah, I genuinely enjoyed that. I almost want to give it an extra chair. So, from mixed with the working, I'm going to give it all the 4s.
Yeah, Unity 5 has done wonders for, fixing basic input and display handling for Unity, so much so that the Unity screen to fuck you is gone forever. Long live Unity 5. But yeah, on the Fedora 22 powered AMD 1090Ti, the GTX 980, and the 4K display, this thing runs out of the box with no issues, no problems whatsoever. I'm going to give that 4 chairs.
Yep. Same thing here on the AMD FX 8370E at 4.2 gigahertz with the overclocks, the GTX 970 Strix, and running Corora 2164-bit. I had absolutely no issues. I hit play. It detected something that most Unity games do. It's like every single game will spawn on the left screen, and that's fine. That's the primary screen. That's where they're supposed to spawn. But then there's the Unity games that spawn on the right. Every time I see a game spawn on the right, oh, it's Unity, isn't it? Then I have a look at the game folder. Yep, yes it is. This one, not the case. It actually loaded itself up in the correct screen, so 4 chairs for me.
All right, so that's 4 chairs for mix with the working. Up next is Shiny and Sounds, then Shin.
It's all cactusy and my eyes are covered, not with ants, but kind of with awesomeness. It holds a steady 45 FERPs at 2160 with everything on 11, 150 at 1080p, again with everything on 11. The chibi-style androids? Right. You know what? I'm just going to give you a pass on that. We're just not going to address that. We're just not. I'm a bit disappointed that FXAA is the best you got. And I wasn't really happy about that. Even with things on 11, I can still see the jaggies on the 28-inch 4K display. Since I'm sitting right in front of it, because, well, we'll get into that in the controls section. It's colorful, character levels, really genuinely reflect a lot of love. I liked it. I was kind of jamming with that. The animation rigging, okay, it's bad. Okay, I mean, not laughably bad, and you do a little better than that. Fortunately, you don't see a whole lot of that, just like in the intro and like the lips. It was like, well, okay, that's kind of base level. Maybe they wanted to do more with that. They never got around to it. The sounds, your standard arcade, pew, 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 nothing to write home about in that. I mean, they work. I didn't go, oh, I can't stand this. I need to put on Slayer. I could just deal with it. And I know they released OST DLC, but for the life of me, I'm unable to recall the background music. I know it was there, but and I'm not saying it wasn't good. I was just more focused on not getting murdered to death. So, at the end of the day, take that shot with the 3 chairs down your throat hole.
Oh yeah, no. I'm pretty sure I did hear a soundtrack while this game was playing. I just have no recollection of it because there's way too much shit on the screen to be focusing on. But it's good looking shit nonetheless. I semi disagree with the animation. It's a bit rudimentary at times, but I mean it gets the point across, and I guess the super deformed characters kind of help with that. The voice acting, and any amount of voice acting in any Linux game is a plus, and this has some voice acting in some parts, but not others, because, dragons are expensive, So are Ven Stones, especially if you want them to do a high-pitched girl's voice, then you gotta pay the big bucks. But it runs fairly well at 4K, like Ven said, it's averaging about 45 FPS at 4K. I didn't notice any real graphical glitches, but again, it's more I'm trying to stay out of the path of things versus trying to appreciate the pretty. It does its job, and it does its job well, so I will give this game 3 chairs in the Shining and Sounds department.
Yeah, I agree with Jordan on this one, that the characters are so heavily stylized that the animation, for what it is, it gets the point across and it works. The voice acting, when present, is great. I kind of wish that they had voiced every last bit of dialogue, but they didn't. I'll get more into that in the fun. But for such a small team and a limited budget, these lot actually made the absolute best that they could. I kind of had to mute the background music because, like Van and Jordan already mentioned, it was kind of forgettable, and there's so much shit going on screen that you can't. Your brain just does not process it. So I just loaded up my harsh style techno playlist, and all of a sudden, hey, this works. But yeah, at 1080p with everything on 11 and enforcing 2 times MSAA through the NVIDIA settings, because like Ven already mentioned, there's only FXAA in the game. It was running at around 100, 110 constant. So that's pretty good. The art style, the sound design, the atmosphere all fit together, and it works. It's an awesome audio-visual experience. Not having other forms of anti-aliasing built in outside of FXAA, and the lack of voice acting in some places are really the only things I can point or I can fault this game for. So it gets 3 chairs.
So, according to Pedro, soundtrack needs more Sandstorm. 3 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Up next is Control. Ven, how's the controls?
Did you release a twin-stick bullet hell shooter without the ability to adjust sensitivity? Yes, you did, Brad. Yes, you did. The right stick for me with the X-Clone controller is hella twitchy, making precise targeting fuck all impossible. Yes, I'm pretending precise and controller can be used in the same sentence. They can't. Not something I would expect from a game that proudly touts Steambox Ready on their store page. I just need a way to calibrate that business. Like in Victor Vrand in that, I would never have been able to play that with the X-Clone controller if it wasn't, just to get the sensitivity where I wanted. This one's just way too twitchy for all that business. Fortunately, the keyboard and gerbil saves it from receiving 1 chair. And also, you can't rebind shit, and it's kind of not really irritating. It's logically laid out. I was kind of wondering why the hell they chose the space bar for weapon swap versus right-click. Then I right-clicked. Then shit got real. And at the end of the day, this is a Linux box, personal computer, not a PS4. Lack of rebindable controls and no way to set the sensitivity, not just with the mouse. I mean, I can do that with the EP, Yellow Swag, Gerbil. It's got that button, but this is not the type of game that I want to sit directly in front of the fucking monitor. This is something I want the big picture experience, and that's not there. It's not busted. It could be improved. I'm going to give it 2 chairs. It's there.
Speaking of PlayStation 4, as I plugged in my PlayStation 4 controller, went to options, and I selected control as my main input, and it says, press a button on your controller. So I did, and it auto-detected my PS4 controller. Everything worked out of the box. All the button prompts changed to the appropriate ones. So that was nice. It's always fun when a Unity game gets controls right, and I think with Unity 5, it's going to get a little better. I didn't have the problem with the twin sticks that these guys had with their Xbox controllers. That may just have to do with the construction of the PlayStation 4 controller or the driver, or who knows. Regardless, I was able to play the game fine with the controller organ. Specifically this guy here, the DualShock 4.
Filthy
Black now,
console peasant.
So racist. But yeah, I had no issues with the controls. They were responsive enough. Again, using analog sticks as opposed to a keyboard and mouse, you're only going to be so accurate. But it was passable. I'd give it 3 cheers.
Yeah, I had issues with the controls. I had so many issues, in fact, that just like Ven, I looked at the prompt on screen and it said, "Yeah, hit space to switch to the to switch weapons or dodge." I'm like, crap. How the hell do I get to space? I play with the arrow keys, which are on one side, and the space bar is on the other side. Okay, so I'll just lift the mouse off the mat and hit the space bar whenever I want to switch. So then I went to Twitter, and I asked Syama Mishra, which is one of the guys behind the game, and so who should I be verbally inconveniencing over the lack of rebindable controls on Assault Android Cactus? And he said that would be Ironic Account. His name is Tim Dawson.
Totally
He's the
threw
guy
somebody under the bus, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's also on the list, and they link my forum post on Steam asking about the same thing. And I just posted the Grumpy Cat. Good! But it's Saturday now, and they still have not introduced rebindable controls, so 2 chairs.
All right, so that's 2 chairs for controls. And finally, our final and subjective category, fun. Ben, did you enjoy yourself?
Oh, did I enjoy? I always enjoy myself, especially hanging out with you guys who I love. So I
I think I'm going to puke.
Okay, I like the attempts at humor, but they do fall a bit flat. Granted, the dead inside android who picks her nose and screams pineapple and runs around and she's like, "Oh, shiny wings." It's like, that's cute in its own way. The constant battery drain mechanic versus lives is interesting, but you best not miss a battery drop because that's your arse, son. Finding the right character best suited for the boss fight, that's also interesting. And I had to, mark through here because until 2 days ago, I was like, fuck that first boss, I can't beat him. Then I finally switched over to the keyboard and gerbil input and learned about switching weapons with the right side. So I was like, I kicked its ass after 12 tries, and it was brilliant. One thing I didn't like is you get to get some points to unlock things. Like there's a first-person shooter mode, and there's AI assist modes and all that. It's like, it's kind of a dick move, Brad. It's just gotta be there. I shouldn't artificially have to keep playing your game. If I want to play your game, I'm going to like your game. I'm going to keep playing it anyway. I mean, there's the letterboards and all that. I just kind of felt that just rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, that's kind of artificially extending the playtime. Nighttime is coming. At the end of the day, though, the levels are easy sauce, but they do ill prepare you for the boss fights because those are just straight up curb stomp you, which is good. You're like, all right, I finished it. Okay, here's the boss. And you're like, now we start playing. I want to call it maybe a rage quit light because it will summon the Alt F4, which, is the noob switch that, rage quit and all that business. But the entire time, while you're like, screw this game, you're like, I'll get it next time. I'll get you next time, Brad. Don't worry about it. And that's a good thing. So I'm going to give it 3 chairs.
Yeah, the bosses in this, they if you are not ready, they will just fuck your shit up right off. Like from the get-go, levels start and they already melee attack you and you're down and you gotta blow your battery. Actually, it was kind of interesting how they work together with they combine the life mechanic with the ammo mechanic because your battery drains the more you shoot. So that seemed a bit interesting. Like Ben said, you basically have to get every single battery that drops. And oh yeah, good luck if it's on the other side of that map because you're wading through a fuck ton of enemies to get to that, or else you're gonna die anyways. That being said, though, this game actually has a really, really solid learning curve because it starts you off easy enough and it gently ramps up the difficulty until you can start taking on really, really complicated challenges and even boss fights. And it's all building upon what you've been doing so far. And I'm personally not a big fan of shmups, but this is very, very well done. That first fucking boss, though, That took me 5 tries. Second boss, I'm still working on. That thing just will outright wreck your shit. Also the stage before that one, I'm having some trouble with. Pedro recommended I use Cactus on that one, so I'll give that a shot at some point. I mean, the unlockables are nice. You have to get good enough. You have to get enough points to unlock specific droids and whatnot. And I didn't unlock the AI stuff. I didn't really explore that much into the game. But I remember the main thing to take away from this is I remember that this game was so much worse than it actually was when I played it 2 years ago. It has improved considerably. Enjoy your revised score. 3 chairs, man. You deserved it.
Yeah, this game has made leaps and bounds since we first got the keys back in 2013. The textures actually look like proper textures, and the shading effects actually work. Although on my end, that's probably because I'm not stuck on a 2009 Toshiba calculator with AMD graphics chips. Maybe that's the case. But like I mentioned in the Shiny and Sounds, the partial voice acting is, I feel, a point in its disfavor. The voice acting is great. It feels right given the setting, the design choice, and the overall silliness of the game. It's just too bad that they couldn't have the entire lines of dialogue between the android you're playing and the bosses and everything else fully voice acted.
That's kind of jarring, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes to that
It's
Nintendo.
like you get the first
it
two
is,
or
it is
three
the Mega Man
lines.
voice, too.
Yeah. But the combat right now feels so much better. Each shot, especially with the shotgun android, Corral, it has real punch to it. They have some camera effects that actually make it feel like you're actually shooting a shotgun. It feels stupidly satisfying to nope 5 or 6 enemies in a single shot. That's amazing. But one thing I thought was genuinely evil was the leaderboard. At the end of each level, you get to score, and then it matches you up. If you're below any of your Steam friends, it'll give you the name of your Steam friend and
You didn't like
his
Grandpa
or her
beating
score.
you, did you?
Yeah.
Old Rick!
So, I had already made it to like stage 3, and I decided to go back. Yeah, let's see if I can improve my scores. And I went back and I see Jordan, Ven, and Sleep Beef all having higher scores than me. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. So I have since corrected that little hiccup. I am now in first place. But yeah, at least in the
How
friends
strong
list.
does that E-Peen feel? Does it feel good?
Yes.
Are you
yes,
about
it
to
does.
come? All over your face. Wrap it up,
But yeah,
Pedro.
to wrap this up, if I had to criticize this game in any way, is that the androids are not balanced. Holly and Cactus are considerably, objectively better than Corral or Starch, that inside one that Ven mentioned earlier.
Pineapple.
Yeah. Also, it's local multiplayer only.
So
Even
come
considering
on,
that,
NVIDIA Shadow
I'm
Play.
still willing to give it 4 chairs. Because
All right,
it is
so that
fun.
tallies up to 3 chairs for fun and 3 chairs for final score. Assault Android
Woo!
Cactus actually bumped up a chair from its previous review. So good on you. It's a fun game. I suggest picking it up. It's not horrifically expensive, and it's a great party game too if you have some people over. But even if you're just playing on your own, the leaderboard mechanic really does like incentivize you to get better and better and better and fuck over your friends. Just ask Pedro. But final thoughts?
That's what I had to check. Coming in at regularly $14.99, $11.99. I would almost say pick it up if you're into, even if you're only kind of into bullet hell shmup type stuff like that.
I don't like them, and I
had a good time. If they fix the controller issues, because just keep that in mind. You might not be able to have the big picture experience sitting on your couch organ with this if you're like me and you just find it too twitchy. Currently, there's no way to adjust that. They might do that later on. So I'm gonna, not 100%, just go ahead and buy it. I mean, if you see this thing if you see it 50% off, just pick it up, though.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I personally, twin stick shooters have never really been my cup of tea. I don't hate them like I do real time strategy games, but I'll play them, but I'll play them in short bursts. Like, I'll pick it up, finish a couple of levels, get my ass kicked on a specific level, then rage quit, and maybe the next day or a couple hours later, I'll go back, finish that level, do it all over again. And
It
this
makes
is a
you
game
think
that
about it,
actively
right.
rewards that.
Mhm.
It's like, the more you play, the more you want to play because you feel awesome, and if you manage to finish a level without any of the enemies touching you, you actually feel like a badass. So yeah, this is a definite must-buy.